On today's video, a 270 million power player, 19vette, one of the oldest whales in Rise of Kingdoms, found his fate as zeroing came in swift with triple rallies, and the craziest, biggest single rally on a city report I have ever seen in Rise of Kingdoms came from this zeroing. So sit back, smash a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming, as SOD are about to lose one of their biggest players out there, none other than 19vette, or Vette, however you want to say it. I mean, this is a guy we've known from ever since the beginning of Rise of Kingdoms. He was one of the founding whales, I guess you can call him, and he's about to take a triple rally out the wazoo, as he'd already taken a couple. We're a little bit late on the recording, but we have the first massively insane report that came out of this. Before we start though, don't forget of course to slap a like on the video and subscribe to the channel down below and hit the bell to get a notification. By the way, if you've been subscribed here for a while and you don't get notifications, unsubscribe and resubscribe, and then you'll be able to re-enable your notifications. YouTube messed up and disabled notifications on a bunch of you. They've let me know, by the way, that it's a bug that they're fixing. They're working on it and they're apologizing, but nonetheless, it hurt our channel. So make sure you have your notifications on. This is a report from Vette City. I'm not 100% sure this is the beginning of it, but 21 million T5s is plenty of troops as is, and boy, oh boy, he's about to lose them all. And so, I don't know what happened with this guy. He's been kind of like slowly and steadily losing interest in the game / busy with life. I don't know. He hasn't been as active as he used to be in the past. And I guess he got caught off guard right here and just started taking triple rallies out the wazoo. I mean, at 190 some million power, you're still looking at a pretty nasty result. Pretty strong guy. Unfortunately for him, his garrison was Richard, and YSG. If it was Charles Martello, it would have been even much better than that at this stage. But Richard, YSG, 190 some million power player. Keep an eye on the power as I keep clicking on the city occasionally, because that power drop is absolutely mind-bogglingly crazy. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get all 100% of the reports, but we have some of the bigger ones and, of course, the massive one that I mentioned in the intro coming up. So what does it take to zero a player like this? It takes a combination of three important things. Number one, the ability to lose a stupendous amount of troops, because you're gonna lose a lot of troops in the early rallies to break this guy down. It's gonna take 2, probably 3 triple rallies to start really softening this man out. So you gotta be able to lose troops and not cry about it. Number two, you need to be able to synchronize your rallies so that they hit as close as possible to each other. The way you can do that very, very, very easily is by having an anchor. Rise of Kingdoms has yet to adopt the anchor mentality of having someone way from behind join with one troop, and then whenever you guys are ready to launch, you launch at the same time by kicking the guy out of the rally. That's how you can sync very easily rallies. You need to know how much time worth of a march you have, which you can see when you set up the rally, and then you can release rallies at different times, which will make them arrive at the same time and land on the city. Clearly that report was not 100%, because here he has 22 million troops, but oh my god! Oh my god! That's 4 million T5s gone, and that's one report, one rally. We're not talking about the triple. There probably are more reports like this, but oh my god, 50 million power, 52 million power drop on a city from one Attila Takeda. Regardless of the fact that it's a 3.4 million rally with a bunch of reinforcements in it, I mean, it kept getting filled up over and over. They lost 1.2 million troops, but killed 4.5. How do you lose 52 million power from one rally? Bad garrison. No support skills, no garrison equals wrecked. How many of you have seen a report like this? Smash a like on the video if you haven't seen any reports like this ever of a city being rallied. I don't think that even way back when 93 and zeroed out Solomar, even then, I don't think they had that crazy of reports. Now, granted, technology for Heroic Anthem, bigger rallies, more ability to join rallies. Of course, everything's changed since then. But, oh my God. And to make matters worse, it didn't stop there. I mean, losing 52 million power out of 270 hurts like a mother F, but there's 220 million power still left to go. Well, technically speaking, there is 170 million power to go. And so the triple rallies continued going on. The third and final thing you need to be able to destroy cities like this is you're going to need a good combination of rally leaders. And we're talking primarily Attila Takeda's with a little bit of supports. A Guan Yu rally right there, a Guan Yu Leonidas rally right there is actually very strong because you want to try to break the city in multiple facets. Remember that when you're attacking with cavalry, you're going to be doing a little bit more damage to the archers, but a little less damage to the infantry. And what ends up happening when people zero cities, especially with multiple rallies at the same time, is that they send the same type of rally, Attila Takeda, and then they start off by wrecking the archers, and then they go on to wreck the cavalry, and finally the infantry. But when you have a mix of rallies that are doing kind of this decent amount of damage on all types of troops, what you're going to do is essentially you're going to make your Attila Takeda's, your Guan Yu rallies much stronger. Attila Takeda doing a lot more damage per se to the archers means that the Guan Yu Leonidas are less punished by them. Guan Yu Leonidas hitting the cavalry a little bit stronger means that if there was an archer rally coming up in here, it would take a little bit less of that damage. So a good combination of proper rallies of folks of different types, but primarily Attila Takeda's, let's be real, is what you want. Granted, whoever's not in the Attila Takeda will most likely become a sacrificial lamb as they'll do less kills. But hey, if you're a team and you're working together to zero something like this, you can't be like, not everybody can be the hero of the story. One last thing that should be said about zeroing a player like this is that at 140, even 120 million power, you really don't want to swarm him until you can barely see the red line. The reason for that is because you're going to take a massive hit regardless. You're going to take a stupendous hit if you don't wait until the very last second. I can tell you that in the last piece of footage before the big report, they swarmed a little bit early, and a couple of those guys lost their pants. One of them, most of his march was dead, and he didn't realize that even though it was very low on red, a 200 million power player with a very low red still has 7 million T5s there. So that was definitely not a good idea. Now, what is the future of 19? I have no idea. If he cares, he might rebuild and do his thing. I don't think he'll go up to 270 because there's really no reason for that. But he could very easily rebuild that. His account is an insane account. But if we know anything from history, like folks like Solomar, when you get zeroed more often than not, the bigger guys get zeroed because they either were in a business meeting or a flight, and it kind of sucks. But in the majority of cases, it's people who really didn't care that much that, before getting on the plane, made sure their account is secured, you know what I mean? Or before getting into the meeting, made sure their account is in an okay space. Someone else who got rallied and not zeroed, but he caught it on time way back was Ticklefist. Ticklefist is a really strong player. He's currently, I believe, in Lost Kingdom 507, if I'm not mistaken, fighting against OV in Kingdom 52. And he is one of the few people that I know that legitimately was in a business meeting or a business call, and he was in a fairly secure position, but his opposition managed to put him into a rallyable situation. He got rallied a few times, but got online at some point, realized he's getting rallied, and he's like, okay, well, I got a bunch of kills. They killed a little bit of my troops, but I'll be all right. One thing you should remember about 19, by the way, is that this is Heroic Anthem. So even if he doesn't rebuild, he leaves his account as is right now, 52 million power. As soon as Heroic Anthem ends, 11 million T5s come back. So getting zeroed by these folks in Heroic Anthem sucks. But the good news are that, again, if you get zeroed in Heroic Anthem, half of your troops come home. If we're talking 11 million T5s, that's about 110 million power. So even after getting zeroed in Heroic Anthem, the men's going to go back to 160 plus million power at the end of all of this. Massively crazy reports, 20 million power drops. I mean, 4-for-1 trades by Guan Alexander rallies. Absolute madness. Complete chaos. And major congratulations to the folks who managed to get him zeroed. This is one of the bigger players to get zeroed. This is a very known, prominent figure in Rise of Kingdoms. Well, he's known, to say the least. Back in the day when he was more active, he was much more vocal as well. We heard from him a little bit more, and he was much more active warring and stuff like that. You don't get to 300 million kills by not doing anything, right? I mean, heck, this guy, he had his time. And now he has to wait until the end of Heroic Anthem to get his troops back or start rebuilding, which I'm pretty sure his account can do so if he chooses to do it. What else can be said? And except for enjoy the awesomeness that is this zeroing. There's more footage coming up of the rallies and of the swarming and all the goodness. But I do want to touch on something that is not really related to what you're seeing, but what you were maybe expecting on a Friday. We've done for about 2 months, every single Friday, a jumper update video where I tracked how many legendary commander sculptures I got. I showed you the bag of the account. I showed you a little bit the growth of that account. And for the past couple of weeks, I think like 3 weeks, we did not do a jumper update. And I thought that I was going to do one today, but there is another video that I have planned out for next week, which will outline a little bit better why you haven't seen updates from the jumper. The jumper currently sits in Kingdom 2. It's active. I'm on it every day using my free AP, gathering, training troops, making sure, we won 15th place in the Nebuchadnezzar MGE, which means we got Nebuchadnezzar unlocked, we unlocked Cyrus. We are continually active with the account. We finally found a place to do Arc with it, which is awesome. And so that account is active. But something changed in Rise of Kingdoms that was insanely painful for it. And I don't really want to talk about it until the video that's coming up next week, which is pretty much going to highlight what I think is the state of Rise of Kingdoms. And a lot of you have been asking me lately what I think about all these different rant videos and what I think about the crystal researches and what I think about the Heroic Anthem and what I think about Strife of 8 and game is dying and there's 1 year until this game ends and all of these crazy things. People have asked me what are my opinions on. And so next week you're going to get a very, very detailed video on everything I think is going on with Rise of Kingdoms right now and everything I think is going to happen with Rise of Kingdoms in the near future as well as in the later future, in the not so near future, I guess. So if you do want to see what I think about it, my honest opinion on things, make sure you're subscribed down below and that bell is rung so that you know when that video is out. It's coming out next week sometime. I need to figure out based on wars going on in Heroic Anthems and some footage of course, we want to show you guys the folks of freaking 254. I always say 524. The folks of 254 against 331. That's coming up next week as well. And in between all that, the state of Rise of Kingdoms in 2020 will be here. And yeah, that's about that. We got a few extra reports to show you all of very, very awesome numbers going down. I mean, come on, 80 million dead to the 571. And that's T5s. That's not like they're killing T1s at this point. Straight up T5s out the wazoo. And their troops are not all T5s. They're a mix of T5s and T4s. So this is just crazy. Just absolute madness. I mean, look at this. 2 and some million deads to the 400. I mean, these guys were trading 5-to-1s without an issue. And then, once Vette was weak enough, well, it was time to swarm. It was time to swarm, and it was time to swarm big time. It was so much time to swarm, and all the resources he had and all that goodness, but you're about to see a rally that was launched on him But there were so many people swarming the city that the rally never even got to hit it. Remind you, when you're swarming a city or a building that's not a pass, you can swarm with up to 10 marches. And there are 10 spots around the city or around the building that are the swarming spots. If you take a look at this footage, you'll notice in a bit the rally come in and it just starts, every time there's an empty spot, it starts going towards it, but someone else makes it to the spot in time. And so that report does the little go around, that rally goes around for a little while until it finally finds a spot. But by that time, the rally was completely unnecessary. Here it comes right here, coming barreling down that Attila Takeda, and watch the purple sigil just rotate around the city endlessly. Every time it thinks it finds a spot, someone else picks it up, and they turn around and try to find another spot, and so forth and so on. And that rally just went around and around and around until there was nothing to hit, and then it hit, and then it went poof. For now, I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Appreciate it for seeing on the video again. So slap the like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our Discord in the description down below. A lot coming up in the near couple of weeks in this channel, as well as for Gekko Gaming in general. We're about to launch the second channel with more behind the scenes, more vlogs, more other games, more things that are not necessarily Rise of Kingdoms, as well as a third channel all about Pokemon. That's right, but we'll get there when we get there. I'll see you all sooner rather than later. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend. Peace.